Well, hey, welcome back to Outside the Room. I'm CG Funk, your host. And of course, we promised you in the last episode that we would have James Waslaski come back and visit us. And he is going to show you some great techniques that you can include in any of your massage treatments. And on the table, we have beautiful Mariana, and she's our model today. So welcome back, James.
Thanks. I'm glad to be back. It's an honor to be here again.
Well, listen, I'm going to get out of your way, and I'm going to let the master do his thing. So here we go.
Thank you. Thank you. So Mariana, I was told that you're having some migraine headaches, some headaches and neck and back pain.
Yes.
Is that correct? So we're going to do, part of what I do is I evaluate first. So I'm going to evaluate your head and neck and see what's causing your pain. You know, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to get up here and just see what your range of motion is. So one thing about the clinical aspect of massage therapy is by evaluating the movement of your head and neck, like your rotation is restricted to about 60 degrees, and I'm going to increase that where you can rotate all the way to the right when we get done. And Mariana, I'm going to also check your rotation to the left. And Mariana is part of the younger generation where there's a lot of social media, texting, computer work. So the forward neck that you have, Mariana, is what we're going to be treating. We're going to try to get the neck not so forward and get all that treated. So Mariana, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one more evaluation. I'm just going to check, is there any discomfort when I do that?
Yes.
Okay, that's uncomfortable. What about when I go to this direction?
Yeah.
Okay, so Mariana, now I'm going to change that. So one of the things we learned is that the SCMs, the sternocleidomastoid muscles right in here, they actually don't just attach to the mastoid process. What the SCMs do is they wrap around the back of the occiput. So one of the things that's causing your migraine headache, Mariana, is that your occiput is extended from tight muscles in the front, and it's pressing on nerves and blood vessels. And so the neurovascular headache is something that I'm going to be treating today. And all of this will be pain-free. It'll be gentle. It'll be good application of massage technique. So I'm just going to do you a little bit of lubricant, Mariana. And I always start not specific work. I like to do general work. So Mariana, what we're going to do is just put a little bit of this mouthwash ointment around your neck. And what I'm going to do, Mariana, is I'm going to grab this muscle right here and I'm going to slowly rotate you to this side. And when I explain why I'm treating this, Mariana, why I'm treating is it pulls your head back like that. You know, the SCMs don't actually flex the neck, they extend the occiput. And so as I treat this, I'm just rotating to the involved side. And then I'm doing some light myofascial stretching. So I'm just warming up the tissue right now. I may just do a little bit of myofascial work to your neck. Just slowly rotate your head to the left, and I'll just hook that fascia and bring it straight back, and then come back to neutral. I like to get the brain involved, because when Mariana is involved and she's educated, I'm teaching her why she's having neck pain and why she's having pain in the shoulder, in the back. And right now, Mariana, I'm just going to treat the muscles that are pulling your head forward. Because when you're texting and so on and you're working in the studio, these muscles are shortening and they're flexing the neck and they're extending the occiput and they're pressing bones onto nerves and blood vessels. So why I educate the client is that if every word we give energy to communicates. If Mariana thinks about what I'm doing, it processes from her brain. We're dealing with frontal cortex, neuroplasticity, muscle memory. So as I educate Mariana in the treatment, now if they want to relax, you just do the session and you don't do the education. Just look down with your eyes. One of the reasons Mariana's looking down with her eyes is that helps me stretch these SCMs. The other thing is there's two lamina grooves, and I'm just going to come up the lamina groove. This will feel really good, Mariana. I'm just lifting. So there's a lamina groove on the right and left, and I'm just coming up there and gliding up and hooking those SCMs, and then I'm going to treat the left side. So Mariana, when I rotate you to the left, I've got to make this muscle longer to give you more left rotation. And I've got to make this muscle longer to give you more right rotation. And then what I got to do is there's muscles under the occiput. There's a lot of muscles under here. And this is part of what's causing your migraine headache, is these muscles are compressing these bones. I teach an audience of chiropractic, physical therapy, athletic training, but my specialty is massage. And I don't dummy this down for anybody, but I'm going to try to simplify it. I want you to be able to use these user-friendly techniques. And now I'm going to just get one hand in each lamina groove, and Mariana, I'm just going to give you a little traction because your neck gets a little compressed from gravity and forward neck. Now what holds bones together is ligaments. So Mariana, I'm just going to hold under your neck and I'm just going to gently shorten the ligaments. They hold bones together. When I lightly do positional release or strain counter-strain techniques and do gentle rocking, it reduces articular ligament referral pain patterns. It reduces sympathetic stress. It reduces secondary muscle guarding. So then when Mariana is more relaxed, I can do more effective therapy. Mariana deserves the VIP treatment. Everything I say, everything I do is to facilitate the brain's ability to facilitate its innate wisdom to heal itself. So Mariana, I've only done a couple techniques and I want you to see something, Mariana. Now when I rotate you all the way to the right, do you have any discomfort when we go to the right?
No.
And Mariana's kind of surprised. So something so simple can make such a drastic difference. And when Mariana smiles, it produces dopamine. So that happiness, that smile produces dopamine, which are pain-relieving chemicals. So getting Mariana to laugh or to smile a little bit is really therapeutic as much as the therapy itself. And then I'm just going to come up into your laminar groove and I'm going to give you a little traction. This is going to feel really great, Mariana. I'm going to decompress those nerves in there. I'm going to decompress those discs. And then again, I want to just reevaluate you. And as I go, I consistently reevaluate. Now, Mariana, can you turn all the way to the right? Any discomfort on that?
No.
And can you turn all the way to the left? Any discomfort on left rotation? No. Good. So now we're going to come in and we're going to work some of the muscles that come from the shoulder. Muscles like levator scapula. You know, we're going to show you how to use rib work and breath work to stretch our intermiddle scalenes. And then we're going to do, and Mariana, I would encourage you also, you know, we're talking about combining massage and working with the esthetician, you know, my wife says getting a relaxation, a facial is great. Anything that touches the skin, anything that causes Mariana to relax. There's a lot of sympathetic stress in our world, so we want to really make sure that nothing we do is painful, nothing we do is doing harm. We want to honor the code of ethics. And so Mariana, we're just going to go in here. And Mariana has restricted lateral flexion. So first of all, when someone's texting, their neck is coming forward, and you have a little bit of that, so we're going to treat that, okay? And when I say treatment, I mean we're just going to relax the bones and the ligaments. We're going to ask Mariana to relax, because once Mariana walks in that door, she gets the VIP treatment. We're going to decompress and hydrate all the discs in Mariana's neck. Anything I do is uncomfortable, Mariana, you let me know. The key to good therapy is the brain has to feel safe. When somebody is making things happen instead of encouraging Mariana to allow me to engage and facilitate healing, forceful movements. Here would be an example. One of the things I'm evaluating is, Mariana, sometimes if you sleep on a pillow wrong, it causes these bones to go out of alignment. Mm-hmm. Now, when I teach chiropractors, I teach which muscles are causing these to go out of alignment. So Mariana should be able to translate. Her head should be able to go back and forth like this, like the Egyptian thing. But what you're going to find when I evaluate Mariana's neck is that Mariana slides to the right really good, but she doesn't slide to the left so good. Do you feel the difference? This one goes with ease. This one's kind of stuck. Now, what that evaluation said to me is that the muscles on the right side of Mariana's neck are pulling C1 to the right. And there's oblique capita superior and inferior. There's a lot of muscles that we can treat in here, but we're going to do a muscle energy technique, Mariana. So you're stuck to the right, so the nerves and the blood vessels cannot really flow to the brain. The fluid can't get out. So we're going to do a little technique that'll help with that. So Mariana, just like the Egyptian thing, bring your whole head to the right gently, push into my right hand, and now relax. And then I'm just going to lift the occiput and I'm going to slide you more to the left. And now, Mariana, I want you to see what one technique can do. Look at how you move in both directions now. So we can translate right and left and we can get that movement back. We also want to, I do teach mostly massage, but when I teach an osteopath or a chiropractor, I have to say we're going to sidestep and we're going to facilitate better opening and closing of those lateral facet joints. So we're just working our way up the neck, real gentle support of her neck. Also, just know that there's a very emotional component. We've got an endangerment site. We've got the carotid arteries. We've got the vagal nerve. We've got the trachea. So when you sidestep, my thumbs are like a hitchhiker. They're pulled back like that. So when I'm sidestepping, I never actually interfere with the anterior triangle, which can be both emotional and scientifically interfering with flow of nerves and blood vessels. So I'm staying away from the trachea and the carotid artery. Now, Mariana, when I bring your head right and left, is there any discomfort when I go all the way to the right or all the way to either side? Any discomfort with that?
No, not really.
Okay, so I'm constantly evaluating from the clinical model. Now, let's just say that they didn't want the education. One thing we do know, though, is when I put it in Ariana's brain, it goes to her cells, her tissues. There's a lot going on with the brain controlling pain. So if I educate her, the information is more effective, the techniques are more effective. But if Mariana just wanted a nice relaxation session, I can go, we're just gonna warm up these traps. Can you turn to the left a little bit for me? We're just gonna warm up all these tissues. Nice myofascial work. I'm gonna go back and warm up these tissues. We're gonna hit all these suboccipital muscles in here, Mariana. Loosen those up so the occiput can pull up off those nerves and blood vessels. And we're gonna do a little bit of work to this side and rotate to the right for me. And I try to get the client involved so it becomes a neurofascial technique. It's not just a fascial technique, but when the brain is involved and Ariana is learning new pain-free movements, we are processing the information to the unconscious brain, the brain that is normally having pain. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to have you look down with your eyes. When Ariana looks down with her eyes and I stretch the suboccipital muscles, the stretch is enhanced because the optic nerve goes from the eyes through the optic nerve to the suboccipital muscle. So Ariana's movement of her eyes can affect better outcomes into the neck. Now, Mariana, let's go through all your ranges of motion again. Can you rotate all the way to the right? Any discomfort there?
No.
And let's go all the way to the left. Any discomfort there? No. And Mariana, when you bring your head from side to side, is there any discomfort there?
No.
Good. So we have good facilitated opening and closing of those facet joints through good soft tissue therapy techniques. Now I'm going to just come in and get that normal cervical curve back. So when Ariana, do you text a fair amount? You're on your iPhone a little bit? Yeah?
Yeah.
This is a typical response to the generation that spends maybe, would you say, an hour or more a day?
Probably, definitely more.
Okay, so when that happens, your neck comes forward. And so what I need to do, Ariana, is I need to get your neck decompressed, and I need to start to pull the neck back, and I need to decompress those discs, and I want it to feel really good, and I need to stretch those suboccipital muscles. Now, do you see how much, is there any discomfort? You move really good to the right, but you're kind of stuck there again. So just push right one more time. Everything I do is based on evaluation, clinical reasoning, special tests. Now, Mariana, look down with your eyes, and now you can slide to the left. Now look at how much more ease you have with lateral movement. Now you can be cool. You can do the Egyptian thing, move your head right, left. I like to bring in when appropriate. Now, if they just want to relax and they want a full body massage, they don't want to talk, that's really critical. Because I know my wife just got a facial and she said, I just wanted to relax. I didn't want any communication. I wanted to be able to just get treated. I wanted to feel great. I needed to turn off my brain for a while. So if you want to just relax, Mariana, I'm going to do a couple more things just to help your neck and your headaches and your migraine headaches. And then I'm just going to do a little suboccipital work. Is any of this uncomfortable, Mariana?
No.
Good. And back in the old days, there used to be therapists, me being one of them, that used to be too aggressive. And now we're finding out that less is actually better in most cases. You're just facilitating the body's innate wisdom to heal itself. And Mariana, I'm going to evaluate your shoulders just a little bit, if that's okay. One thing I know, and I'm just going to grab another teaching piece here for a second. My specialty is shoulder work. And one of the things I do is I show the client what a rotator cuff looks like. There's a muscle that attaches in the front, Mariana, and that's called your subscap. There's a muscle that's on the top, and that's called your supraspinatus. There's two muscles in the back. What I see with Mariana is her shoulders are rounded forward. That's from working on computers, driving cars, working, do what you do for a living. So what we have to do is we have to balance these. I had a second-degree tear of my supraspinatus tendon, and by balancing these muscles and using microcurrent and decompressing the humeral head, why I'm using the teaching model is more for the student learning. I want you to understand what is impinged, and what's impinged in most shoulders is the supraspinatus tendon. What's it impinged under? The acromion. My technique must specifically address the condition the client is presenting with, and I can't diagnose. I can only evaluate, I can educate, and I can treat. I cannot diagnose, but I can tell Mariana that if I can get those rounded shoulders back a little bit, you will feel a lot better. So is it okay if I just do a little bit of shoulder work? And what I'm going to do, if I can just expose your arm here for a second, Mariana, is I'm going to evaluate your shoulder. Now, when I try to rotate your shoulder out, I won't go any further than that. So now, based on my 33 years of clinical experience, what Mariana needs is she needs me to relax the shoulder capsule. I'm going to show you a positional release technique that shortens the capsule of Mariana's shoulder. It just relaxes the shoulder. And then Mariana, Mariana doesn't realize, but she's a little bit guarded, a little bit nervous today, I'm sure. But I just do a little rocking. Trager-like movements calm down the nervous system. And then I just pull synovial fluid back into the shoulder joint. So strain, counter strain, a little bit of traction. And now watch, Mariana, this is the magic trick. Watch, now your arm can fall all the way out like that. Do you see Mariana's like, I love the excitement in the client's face when somebody does something so simple and it makes such a profound difference. Do you feel the difference, Mariana? It's just because when I get fluid in here and I start to lengthen these muscles here, and I start to roll your scapula back, it balances out these rotator cuff muscles. Now, Mariana, in a couple of minutes, I'm going to, and I would do this all bilaterally, I would do it on both sides, but for the sake of the video shoot today, I'm just going to demonstrate that on the right side. We would normally, in the session, we would properly drape them, we would work pec major, pec minor. The reason we're starting Mariana face up is that we live in a world of flexion. The shoulders are pulled forward, the neck's pulled forward. So I want to lengthen everything that pulls her into flexion pain. And then when Mariana, if we did a full session, we would do face downward, we would activate weak muscles. But Mariana, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to check, let's say Mariana had carpal tunnel. We've got radial bone, ulnar bone, 8 carpal bones, metacarpal bones, but I can't stretch Mariana's flexors because this is a joint problem. One thing I've learned is that if I can relax ligaments, the brain can feel safe. Through positional release of the articular ligaments and arthrokinetics or joint play techniques, I can decompress those carpal bones. And now here's the surprise, Mariana. You're going to be able to fully extend those wrists and fingers. Feel the difference? Now, I didn't do any soft tissue work. I just made the brain feel safe. And if I can make the brain feel safe, then I can lengthen her flexors and relax the tendons and evaluate the position of the carpal bones. And by the way, if they have carpal tunnel, it doesn't start in the wrist. It all starts in the neck. Brain, brainstem. CG is really good at cranial sacral therapy. And when the brain is in a straitjacket and the cranial sutures and the bones aren't moving, the nervous system can't function. So we could do cranial work and we could do nerve release of the neck and shoulder.
James, thank you so much for coming in. That was wonderful, and I know that everybody is going to enjoy watching your magic and your mastery, but also I know that they're really going to appreciate the philosophy, your philosophy that you brought into that. And I know Mariana floated out of here, so she's feeling fantastic right now.
That's good. Gina, it's an honor to call you my friend and my mentor and to be part of your group, so thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Hey, you guys, wasn't that wonderful, James and his techniques? And you can find out more about his workshops at
www.orthomassage.net.
Right. Well, we'll see you next time on Outside the Room. Thanks for joining us on this episode. From my heart to your heart, namaste.